welcome to Community Connect with Gerwin and Pash. How's everyone doing today? Mr. Gerwin, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good evening, Pash. How are you doing? How was your day?
It was very eventful. I actually just squeezed in, believe it or not, a networking event in between a work day and this podcast. Go figure that one out.
Look at you, man. Networking at its finest. Love it.
Where in the world is Pash ended up at Serendipity Labs for an Evans Bank event where they talked about actually digital marketing and how to use things like Facebook, like LinkedIn properly. And I was like, I got this stuff. I'm just going to support the people. Well, guess what? I learned a lot. I learned that I'm not doing a lot of good things, but at least I'm consistent. So, hey,
that's a key piece in life in general, is consistency. So that's great.
Right. How about you?
I'm doing very well. I think I've finally recovered from being on the other side of the world, and my sleep schedule, I think, is back to normal. But this week has felt really productive. You know, some weeks I feel like, oh, I got stuff done, but I really didn't, kill it, even though I was trying. This week, I feel like I've actually, checked a lot off the to-do list, accomplished a lot, made sure that people I need to reach out to, I've reached out to, and closed the loop on a lot of things. So it's been good. It's been really good. But real quick, how was Vegas?
Vegas was good. It was, everything did stay there. Whatever happened there did stay there, and I'm happy to report that.
Good.
Yeah. So is my wife. It was a great time. We were jam packed, lots of learning. Believe it or not, it was work, and I had to say that like 3 times to people. Work. I'm serious. It was work.
Yeah.
But literally, when you go to those conventions, if you've ever been to a convention, it doesn't have to be in Vegas, but you are back-to-back sessions, and you really don't have a lot of downtime. You know, I did get one poker session in, which went pretty well.
Nice.
That's another story.
Excellent.
But thanks for asking.
Of course.
So, all right. Well, without further delay, let's talk about today's guest. So today's guest is Alice Willis, and wait till I read you this bio. So she graduated from Binghamton University. She was a 5-time All-American runner, 2-time Hall of Famer. Yeah. 1992 Olympic trials track and field qualifier. She actually lived in, and I think you'll like this information. She lived in Dubai, London, and the Bahamas.
Wow. Okay.
And she has 3 adult children that she raised 100% on her own. And last but not least, she is the president of the Irondequoit Chamber of Commerce. And that is what we will most likely discuss today. So with that, here is Alice. Hey, welcome, Alice.
Hey, Alice.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good. I didn't know you guys were going to be going by nicknames, because my nickname for the screen is usually A1 Ice.
Ooh. A1 Ice?
A1 Ice. It's kind of looks similar to Alice, but yeah.
I like it.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna call you A1 Ice from here on out. So
A1 Ice. All right, cool. So let's, before we get into all the nitty gritty about what you have to offer the audience about how you support and lead a chamber of commerce and the businesses that are in the community, let's go back a little bit about you. And to me, the phenomenal aspect of the athlete that you, I don't want to just say word, because that makes it sound like way back when, but you're an athlete. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's funny because I went to school for accounting, and I actually used to be extremely shy in high school, and then in college when I had some success with running, and I kind of got a lot more confidence. So I would never see myself now. I'm in sales for payroll and HR services, and never in a million years, if I knew this like in high school, would I be in sales? You would never think that. No one would ever think that. Plus, my last name begins with Willis, so I was always at the back of the classroom. So I kind of hid back there, and I don't have to raise my hand or whatever. So I definitely think, in Pash, you know this from being involved with soccer, and sports your whole life, that really the biggest thing you really get out of it's not really the accolades or the how fast you run. It's actually being involved and being part of a team with other people and supporting each other, and that's really what you get out of it. In fact, every year there's about 15 of us from my track and cross country team from Binghamton University, which used to be called SUNY Binghamton, and our coach, who is now in his early 80s. We get together every year still for a weekend.
Wow.
So we
awesome.
have that really tight bond. So I guess that's kind of stuck with me, my whole life. I really like being part of a team. In fact, when I was at USA Payroll, which was started by a couple of Irondequoit people, I was in charge of the corporate challenge. I was into planning the parties and everything like that. So I really love that. And then as part of our sales requirements, all the sales reps were on their local chamber of commerce. Because I lived in Irondequoit, I joined the Chamber of Commerce probably 17 years ago. And I was just, a member. I was on the party committee or the business after hours, which I loved doing that. And then gradually, I became president. So it's, the chamber's a really unique situation, because you do have a lot of, at least when I joined, I was the youngest, probably at age like 48 or so. I was the youngest on there by quite a bit. So there was a lot of people on the chamber board that were successful business people. And you really can learn a lot about business and just, working with, as a board to promote other businesses and how you can really work together. So I really appreciate all the time that I was able to spend with them, who a lot of them are no longer either with us or they're no longer on the chamber because they've totally retired and they're moved on. But a lot of them still do come to our events. But I really do appreciate everything I learned from them. So anyway, so now a bunch of us broke off from USA Payroll years ago, and I encompass employee management. We do payroll, HR, human capital management, workforce management. So I do talk to business owners all the time. So really, has a lot of synergies with being on the chamber, and I do try to connect. And you know this, Pash. I try to if I hear someone's having an event that has to do, Medicaid or elderly people or anything like that, I think, I should connect them up with Pash. So I really, I always have that going in the back of my head all the time, trying to connect different businesses, either for the chamber or for my regular, my job that I actually get paid. So everyone in the chamber are volunteers. So this is a volunteer to your job.
Absolutely.
Real quick, because I'm embarrassed to say I learned what a chamber of commerce was way too late in life, but it wasn't really until I got into business and running startups and businesses myself that I really had to dig in and understand what it is. So in case anybody watching maybe doesn't know what a chamber of commerce is, or particularly a city or village chamber of commerce, can you explain what it is and what the purpose of a chamber of commerce is?
Yeah, so really we're there to promote. We try to promote businesses that are in our town or village and city, whatever chamber it is. We promote them by having events, networking events. We also try to put on educational programs for them. That kind of what Pash was talking about with your networking event you went to today. We try to do that. I also, what I've done as president over this last 6 years is I've joined a lot of other groups. I'm pretty much in touch with a lot of the other chamber presidents, whether they're small chambers or the big chambers like Grace or Webster, to put on events together. And also we have formed advocacy groups working with this Rochester Chamber of Commerce, Bob Duffy's group with Mark Cohen. It's called ACRAC. We try to we kind of sign letters and are kind of on top of all the topics that might come up that are going in front of the New York State Legislature that affect small businesses. So we do advocate for small businesses as a group, that's been kind of nice. I mean, kind of during COVID, and it was very hard for chambers because our whole thing was to bring people together, and we were kind of just stymied there. We just couldn't do it. And some of the other chamber presidents that are small chambers like Brighton and Penfield, we kind of think, oh, I wonder if the chambers, these town chambers, are really relevant anymore. Maybe we should combine. But I think they really are, because it's really good to our chamber is like another little community within our community of business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So we really do try to help each other out during these networking events. I mean, it's amazing. You think, oh, we're just getting together, having some beers and music or whatever, but you really do make really good connections, even if there's no topic involved. Just meeting people. Even if there's like a million attorneys out there, you might meet an attorney that does a special part of the law that you never thought of, and you might run into someone else. So it's a really good way to connect with and learn about other businesses and what they do out there. So I really do think we're still relevant. I mean, it is tough because I know with Rotary, with any of these volunteer organizations, it's been really hard to get younger people. I don't know if they're to join, or everyone's busy, but I don't know if we're truly busier than we used to be back in the 80s or 90s. But it's just been everyone's kind of struggled with memberships. And a lot of people, I've heard them say, I hear businesses say this all the time, but when I try to solicit them for joining, well, I have enough business, I don't need any more businesses.
Yeah, I've never said that. I've never said that. No,
that's horrible. Well, I'm always like, well, good for you. That's awesome.
Right.
But you should really be just part of this community. It's not about getting your membership dues. It's about what you can offer to other 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 younger people coming up, because you really, I mean, I've kind of struggled since COVID too, because I'm the only salesperson in my company, but also being in my house all the time. I'm used to being inside, a company with 50 people. And I think there's more than ever, you need, even if people are working remotely, to be able to get out there at a networking event and meet all these other people, because you really need to, of all ages, of all experiences. You always learn something. You always learn something new. And I got to say, as an older person, that's not true. I have a lot to learn about younger people with just even their perceptions or how they look at things differently. And also just the technology, it's like what we're doing now, that's.
Yeah. But I think the fact that you, so that just says a lot about you as a person, right? The fact that you're even curious and are aware that there's a difference and that you want to know how to bridge that makes you, that's not everybody. I just wanted to go back for a second though and say, I literally went through these decisions just about a year ago. I had to decide, I have a new business, a brand new office space in this community. I know we have another office in a different community and we're established and the community knows about us and they're referring people to this business. Now I'm in the new one. I don't know what to do first. How do I let people know what I do? So I've tried social media, blah, 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 all this stuff. But then I had heard about these organizations. I heard about something called BNI. I'm like, what the heck's BNI?
Oh, yeah.
I heard about Rotary. I heard about Chamber. I did some investigations, and I'm not the be all and end all to what is better for what. I just tell you the feeling that I got from interactions with, and it happened to be you. So it happened to be the Irondequoit Chamber that I experienced, and I made a choice. Where would I spend my membership? Where would I spend my time and energy supporting, and why? And to me, the reason why what you offer, you're the figure, the leader of this thing. So I'll say what you offer, what the chamber offered to me, in my opinion, was truly being a community-based situation that literally, as opposed to just going to a general networking event, you are now teaming. And I like how you started the whole thing out. It's all about team. I'm an athlete. You're an athlete. Everyone on this is used to sports analogies. And if you work together, you go further. That's just how I see it. I don't see competition in it. Even if we're in similar industries, I never have sensed that. So to give you a question, I'm going to ask this. As you've had a lot of years of experience in this, whether it be as a member and now as the leader, can you give us, I don't know if you can come up with your one event or your most enjoyable event maybe that you've ever created or been a part of? Do you have anything?
So I want to say I appreciate you joining and choosing us last year, because I remember having those conversations with you over a year ago, and you were doing your research, and no, I really feel honored that you chose to work with us, and you've been wonderful. In fact, I talked you into being on the board too. So that's, or I don't know if you know, you're on the board, right?
Yeah, you gave me a pin. I'm like, is this like my wife? Did you volunteer me what to do? Like, is that?
Yeah. So I gotta say, my favorite, the favorite, like fun, like not serious. Well, it's serious because we raise money for Sunset House, which is a hospice in Irondequoit. But our miniature golf tournament that we hold in September every year. And it wasn't actually my idea. I can't take full credit for it. I was sitting at a networking event with my old friend Joe Janier, who's no longer with us. Wonderful. He was a judge in Irondequoit for many years. He's like the mayor of Irondequoit. But we were sitting around and we're like, oh, I know a lot of chambers have golf tournaments. It's like, oh, it's so much work to organize. And then we do in Irondequoit have Whispering Pines, which is the oldest miniature golf course in the country. Let's do a miniature golf event. And it's great because, it doesn't take that long and it can be within a couple of hours. And we have a really nice dinner and a raffle. And it's just a lot of fun. And it sells out every year pretty much. So that I look forward to all the time. And you never know in September in Rochester what the weather is going to be like. But anyway, and then my other favorite kind of serious event is our awards banquet every January, where we do give out they started out as building awards years ago. So it was best new building, best renovated building, best repurposed building. It used to be best landscaping, but usually in the fall, by the time we try to vote on that, everything's dead. So anyway, but my favorite award is our person of the year. And that is usually someone who's in the community that's gone above and beyond and really made a difference in our community. And they're not necessarily a business. They're mostly not-for-profit, or actually, sometimes they're a business owner that's really done a lot for the community just outside using their business. Jeff Riesenberger, I think, was our first one. He owns Irondequoit Landscaping. He was our first one, I think, years and years ago. But anyway, that really, that whole event, like all the businesses that we honor, it's weird because when I do take quite a bit of time interviewing each one of them. So say for best renovation or best repurposed or best new building, you talk to them about that, the new building, but then you learn so much more about how they got there, what their dreams are, how hard they worked. And it's just, that award is really like, it's not really, okay, it's a shell of a building, or it's, new light fixtures, or they put new paint up. But honestly, that's what I enjoy the most, learning about their drive, their desire. And I know this from the payroll industry, not to mention that people who open businesses, okay, it's nice to have a space filled, but they're also employing mostly residents, and oftentimes they're the first job someone has. Yeah. A great example is one of our members, Tony Peretti, Two-Ton Tony. I can't tell you how many employees he's had it was their first job in high school when they were 14, 15, and now they're super successful business owners.
That's awesome.
And Tony, I know he's very proud of that. My future son-in-law worked for him, and I know, a lot of whole families go through there. Same with Jeff Riesenberger. He hires, everyone's actually now, their kids or whatever, they go through there for the summers, and then a lot of them end up staying. But even that, the Tim Hortons in Irondequoit, that couple, the Kaisers, they are amazing people. You think, oh, this, it's a franchise, but they're local people who own that, and they have so many great programs. Like any of their employees that don't have a driver's license, they put them through Morgan School of Driving.
Wow.
Help them get licenses. They really give them a pathway and teach them how about moving ahead and where they are. They really give them management. They really truly, like in that year, I think I gave them a reward for, because they were where the old Staples built. Maybe that was best landscaping, but it's like they truly are changing the landscape.
All right.
Or that's what I got out of that. I'm like, oh, screw the bushes and the lighting. Really, this is what they're doing. So it's I really, it's a lot of work. I interviewing and I write something nice up, but I really get so much out of that event, and I think it's just amazing. We have some amazing people.
That's awesome. And I'm going to let Greg ask a question, but I'm going to just say I have witnessed your interviewing skills, and I'm envious. I don't do it. I'm not that good. Like, and
you're doing it right now.
No, but I'm saying yeah, but again, I just feel you can just tell when someone knows what they're doing, and you know what you're doing. And
thank you.
No, you really do. I think you do a great job with it.
Yeah. So I want to step away from the chamber real quick, because it's a lot of great information and to understand about what chambers do and how you run the Irondequoit Chamber and whatnot. But when Jim was reading your intro, your bio, something caught my ear that I just have to ask about, because it rung a little funny to me. How do you get into a Hall of Fame twice? I feel like once you're in, right? Like, how do you get into it twice?
I was actually the first one they started Hall of Fame in at Binghamton University. I was the part of the inaugural class, so I was the first female All-American at Binghamton University. So that was as an individual. Then go forward another 30 years, we get a call from the school. They started putting in the Hall of Fame teams. So our team, 1984 cross-country women's team, they decided to put us in the Hall of Fame. So by this time, Binghamton University was Division I, big rah, 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 and all this. And we're just like, like back in the day at Binghamton, when we went to a meet, say we had to drive up to Bowdoin College up in Maine, we literally had a giant van and we took turns driving with our coach. And we didn't have our own vans. Now these teams there fly all over the place. So here we are, we're like all this fanfare, but it was great because it was nice to accept that as a team. So that's how that works.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I when he said 2-time, I'm like, oh, okay. That's cool. That makes total sense as to, having done it as an individual, and then being brought back as a team. That must have been a really cool experience. So
but the weirdest event I ever ran, and I had the most publicity ever, was I ran the backwards mile for the April Fool's Day down in Manhattan where I was working.
Okay.
And I did it as kind of a joke because the prize was 2 years free membership at a New York Health and Racquet Club, and I couldn't really afford it. So I'm like, oh, I'll just pop in this race. And I ended up winning it. And it was like the dumbest thing, and literally running backwards. And who knows if it was even a mile. So anyway, like years later, one of my friends calls me and goes, hey, do you know that you're in the Ripley's world record holder for the mile? It's in the comics at Sundays, they used to have the Ripley's, believe it or not, in the bottom. It was in there. Crazy. I don't know. I got the most for that in New York City. It was in the New York Post, the Daily News, the Wall Street Journal was in there, Outdoor Magazine.
That's
I was
cool.
on the morning show with Charles Corral. Craziness. So after, real serious running, but then that stupid race, I got the most.
Yeah.
So that could be your third Hall of Fame. I mean, as far as I'm
concerned. Right. Oh God, I can try not to fall when I run forward these days, but
yeah.
So as we move forward and we're getting close to our time together, any and I know partly that one of the concerns you kind of touched on is how do we increase membership, right?
Yeah.
And I think you've talked about highlighting of some events that you've liked from the past. What has been, because again, I do think other chambers might be watching, and we watch other chambers and ask for support and all that. Maybe we can, what has been effective? What would you say has been an effective way, or maybe if you would prefer giving an ineffective way of trying to get it? Anything you can share with people, save them some time.
It's funny. We had that for Women's History Month for March. We had this women's event, and you were there at a table. It was crazy how many people showed up, and I actually got calls from people saying, "How did you get so many people to show up?" And I don't know if it's just females; they like being around other females, but it was crazy. That was I think we had like 60 women there. It was really loud. Anyway, but it's really hard we try to figure out what, it's like trying to keep on top of what people want in an event, like what topics are interesting to them, what time of day even to have an event, because sometimes mornings, I know for business owners, especially if they're in retail, can't really leave during the day. So we're kind of finding that evening events do work better because younger people are trying to get kids on the bus in the morning. Right. So I think we're going to stick to that. And, but it's always a challenge. Plus people always sign up for things late. I don't know. I guess they've never had to like put on an event before, but it drives everyone crazy that people wait to the last minute. But, so like our next event, if you want to come, is every year, and Rotary does the same thing. We honor a student from East Irondequoit, West Irondequoit, Bishop Kearney, who intends to pursue a career in business or be an entrepreneur. And we give them we try to give them around $1,000. Hopefully this year we can give $1,500. So that's coming up, and it's a really nice luncheon at Chapel Oaks at St. Anne's Community. And that is Tuesday, May 14th. So if you want to hop on, if you want to sponsor, all the money that the sponsorship goes right to the students.
Nice.
In fact,
and we're going to give, and we're going to, by the way, we're going to leave that link in the description.
In a giant check.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I have the giant check. So they love that. So anyway.
So I will include that link if anyone does choose to because you take donations as well, correct?
Yes, definitely donations, or you can just sponsor and you get, an ad in the program, or just, donate for that. Even if it's like $50, anything, it's great. It goes right to the kids, and they're always appreciative of it. And I'm hoping that they'll, I always leave it open, like come back when you're done with college and join a business.
Right.
So absolutely. We have that, and we're going to hopefully have the key thing is to have it at a kind of a cool place. So I'd like to do a networking event at Marge's. Maybe we usually try to have one at Schooners, which in August. So
if you need people to volunteer to go do like some trial week, I'll find you. I'll find you people that will respond quickly to that. Yes, I'm in. So I can do that. I can do that for you.
Right.
So, all right. Well, Greg, do you have any other questions before we go to?
No, that was awesome. Yeah, nothing else before Connect 4 here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all that information, Alice. And now it's time.
No, A1 Ice.
A1 Ice.
A1 Ice.
A1. All right. So we'll move into our Connect 4 with A1 Ice. All right. So what is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Okay, I'm not a huge TV watcher, but I love me some Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I was a big Seinfeld fan, and because
that was the same writer, right? That was Larry David. Larry David.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, what book or podcast are you going through right now? And don't feel obligated to say Community Connect.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm a really huge reader. I read about 50 books a year. I
Wow.
love book club and all that. So the two that the book that I just read is Demon Copperhead, Barbara
Hmm.
Kingsolver. That was the Pulitzer Prize. I usually read all the Pulitzer Prize every year and the short list of the Booker prizes. So that and and that's about basically again about the opioid epidemic. It's fiction in the Appalachia, so it's very good though. And then I read another book that was tied with this book called Trust by Hernan Diaz. So it's an interesting book. It's hard to explain, but yeah, so yeah, no, not that interesting about like when I'm running, I usually listen to comedy. I love comedy. So that's the event. Oh, sorry, I gotta go back. That's the event we're having in June. Comedy at the Carlson. That is
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
events. Yes.
that's a
Yes.
great
I'm not
space.
quite sure what we're doing what date it is yet, but that's
Yeah.
coming.
That's a great space. So
Yes.
cool. All right. A1 Ice, what is your superpower? And as a reminder to our guests and watchers, this is just something that you naturally do better than anyone else. It's not necessarily flying or visibility, but just what do you just naturally do kind of very, very well?
Well, and Jim, you know this a little bit, right? Is I am the pun queen.
Yes.
I am like the mom of dad jokes. It's yes. So
Yes.
Love it.
that
Love
is my I don't know if that's a power or an annoyance, but it's
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. But I appreciate it very much.
Love it. Okay. I'm love a good pun. So keep my ears open.
And the last question from Connect 4 is, what is a habit that you would like to improve upon?
Okay.
So not necessarily a really bad habit, just something that you're like, self-awareness. I'd like to do this better.
Yeah. My big problem is sticking to my schedule every day. Like, I'm sure we all do that, whether it's procrastination or what, but just when I have a list of things that I must do, I mean, this is for work I'm talking about. And some of them, is going to be hard, but you learn, and I know this, like nothing's ever as bad as you think it, thinking about it is way worse than actually doing
Yes.
it. Whether it's making a phone call you don't want to make or
Yep.
calling unemployment insurance to talk about it, one of your clients. I mean, it's just, you just get it done. So I guess that's my thing. I really am trying now to, the night before is write the top 5 things.
That's awesome. That's what I do. I do that.
Yeah. Those aren't my ideas. These are,
Yeah.
coaches
Well,
saying.
I will say you did a great job of multitasking and finding your way to this event on time. Well done.
Thank
Nailed
you.
it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So again, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Thank you.
I'm sure you gave some information out there that would be helpful to others. And I appreciate you personally in our community. You do a lot. And I hope that people show you that appreciation. And to any president of any chamber, I send this, gratitude out there because I'm sure it's thankless at times and a lot more time for a volunteer position than people would really appreciate. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No, I really get a lot of joy out of it. So
you can tell it's clear. It's clear. You have a lot of energy when you do it. It's not like, oh man, here we go, another chamber event. So we appreciate it.
Remember, I have those very big sharp scissors, so don't piss me off.
I already know not to do that. I do not. Look, my wife's Sicilian. I'm prepared to just tell me what to do. She's trained me. I'm good.
Hey, cut it out.
Hey.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That's supposed to be, yeah, never mind. All right, Alice. Well, thank you. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, sounds good. Bye-bye.
All right, Gerwin.
I got to give a shout out to, I think it's Michaela as well for commenting just now too.
Cool.
I think she met A1 Ice at the chamber event. So thanks for joining us, Michaela. I hope I'm saying that right. Thanks for joining the episode and watching.
Well, you are. And actually, Michaela is joining the Empower family, actually.
Hey.
And we met Michaela at the chamber event that was at Shamrocks. It was a women's networking event.
Beautiful.
We did not know each other. She came all the way from Shortsville. Like I give this, and she's a young lady, very ambitious and lots of energy. And she stood out in the crowd, very like just magnetized. Her personality was just magnetic, and we would not know her if it wasn't for that event.
That's Chamber
Yep.
is fantastic. I mean, yeah, I'm going to keep calling her A1 Ice because I love it. As A1 Ice just went through, I mean, the Chamber is a great way to network, provide value, meet people.
Mhm.
You know, it's just they're great organizations, and
Yeah.
you know, I can't say enough good about them. So, yeah.
And I just think what I love about it is it's very transparent. Like it's just clear. Here's what we are going to do. Our goal is to help your business be entrenched into this community better, and we're going to help each other, lift each other up as one big community. And I mean, that's what we do. If you want to be a part of it, join, and we all just share in the success. So
I love it. I love it. So
all right.
Cool.
Okay,
well,
so
that was awesome.
you know your job at this end. You know what you got to do now.
Hey, all right. Michaela and everybody else who's watching this, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. The best way that you can help us out and give us a big thank you for what we're trying to do is like, share, subscribe, whatever the other buttons are around here. Please do that. If you found any value in this or any of the other episodes, sharing and subscribing is the biggest thank you that you can give us. So we would appreciate that.
And by the way, what I just learned at the networking event, comments really help jack up the viewership too. So actually you can say, wow, that was fantastic. Man, do it again. Let's see another, whatever, just share.
I'm going to add that. Subscribe, like, share, comment.
Awesome. All right, everyone have a great week. Until next time, take care.
Be good to one another.
Bye-bye.